welcome to the This Week in the Tech Boy podcast. We have so much to get into uh, this week. The Nova launcher has unfortunately died. The Apple event has happened, and I have some thoughts about this. The Apple event, we're going to watch a video about that as well. And the world's first Discord elected government has been instituted in Nepal after Gen Z stormed the Capitol after they banned TikTok. Um, in December of 2024, I said on January 6th there will be an insurrection of teenage girls in response to the looming TikTok ban in the United States of America that lasted a good 12 hours. They actually did it in Nepal. Now, there are some people online saying that, for once, they actually agree with the government of Nepal banning all social media, not just TikTok, but Instagram and some other platforms that are barely even considered social media. But I'd say, nah, I'm actually going to be on the side of Gen Z on this one. I'm usually against overthrowing your government. I'm usually against protests, and I'm usually against Gen Z, at least not against Gen Z. The Tech Boy is for teens, is one of our branding. We're going to have to get into that today in response to tragedy. But, I mean, it's kind of against free speech. Now, with the Discord election, I'm just going to say I can't verify the security of that. I mean, my high school election in 23, not in 22, 22 and 22 election was very obviously rigged. It was rigged. Not by the candidates, just by how the administration ran it. I mean, at least they did that over some Google Forms that were locked to a school computer. 2023, very secure on paper, unless they just switched the votes over. Then I wouldn't know. I don't even know the vote count totals, but we can project it with the high school election simulator, which maybe I should sell to Nepal. Who knows? Yeah, in fact, I'm going to make this announcement to the new government that's been elected, One Nation under Discord. If you guys want to use my high school election simulator, we can do a few little tweaks, Hey, maybe next you have your election in Google Forms, Microsoft Word, Excel. But, good on Nepal citizens for overthrowing the government and protesting the loss of TikTok. I'm sure that they will be doing much good with their brand new internet freedom. So congratulations to them on that. And, if they tried to do that in the United States, it would obviously not work because we have free speech in this country, First Amendment. And if they tried to ban Snapchat, well, we'd have the insurrection of all the high Snapchat kiddos. Oh yes, we need to pick our teen of the week. So I'm gonna go into this, and I forgot to make my spinner. Unfortunately, we cannot play the song because the podcast that no one listened to got copyright stricken. I don't know what it is. So I'm going to be doing that as we speak right now. So I'm going to wait for my headphones to charge up so we can react to the Apple video. But let's talk about cybersecurity. Here we are over on TheTechBoy.org, and I'm planning on doing a special mall video. I'm thinking of doing like events across the malls in Houston, this city. I guess it's great. Some areas of it are great. We'll get into that again later. The Galleria, Woodlands Mall, Baybrook Mall. Oh wait, I can't get to Baybrook Mall because for some reason the incompetent Houston public transit system said, "Hey, we have a nice little bus line here that goes up to Baybrook Mall, Babbling Brook Mall, as it is referred in the SSA LTW series." And you're like, "Nah, we're gonna have a nice transit system that goes Monday to Friday. You can't go there on Saturdays." Which is also the name of a horrible television show. But I digress. Oh, speaking of television shows, there's this new show called Bloomingtown from Disney. It's been on Disney Channel, but it's coming to Disney Plus on the 17th. So I need to renew my subscription. I paused it because we're trying to save money here. Because running ads across these high schools is getting really, really expensive. We got our ads over in Tomball High School and our number 2 high school. Congratulations to Prosper High School. You now have an ad. It costs $30 because someone else actually bought one. Here it is. But this is the Prosper High School newspaper. And I'm going to say Prosper High School is everything that I've ever wanted a high school to be. Okay, they have these big great stadiums. Okay, good. The ads are playing. They have these big stadiums. For the teams, especially football teams. This is like deep in Central Texas, United States. Their newspaper is pretty comprehensive here. They do have the countdown to fall break. What is it? Like Thanksgiving break or just like some break in the middle of fall? I'm not sure about that. But they got ENN over here, season 13, episode 5, super high quality stuff here. You got their articles. They even have podcasts in here. That's one of the reasons why I picked Prosper High School. Prosper High School. Look at all these podcasts that they have here that are produced by the school. So these look like they were created last year. It seems like they're going to get back into production here. I mean, look at the website design here. You have this, like it's at 60%. You scroll down, now it's at 90%. Now it's at 10%. You have the entertainment and opinion and column sections, and it's really interesting here, and it's pretty up to date. If you guys look at this was written September 10th, so only 3 days ago. When you go to the news tab, it's going to have something that it was from this yesterday, actually. Oh, there it is. There's our ad right there. Stay tuned with the TechBoy Media viral content and be on my podcast. And I think some of these kids are actually going to be on this podcast. I mean, oh my gosh. It's beautiful. Look at this. Now, I hate Apple. I despise Apple. I was using Apple to try to edit one of my ads, one of the video ads that's out across the Chinese Communist Scrolly app and on Instagram. But, oh my goodness, this is amazing. Look at the TV. This is better than some people's podcast studios. Okay? This is high quality here. 4 TVs right here. And these super expensive MacBooks, and look at the camera in the bouquet. And these people are dressed professionally, like they're about to give a news broadcast. That's one of the reasons why I picked this newspaper here. Is, as you can see, some of these newspapers haven't updated since the year of our Lord 2023, and they still pay for the SNO subscription or some reason. But look at this, September 12th, 2025, and they invest all of this into their news. And of course, they have a great football team, and it's like 3,000 people as well. This is amazing because I know people read this website. Like, it is published daily. And Prosper is a small town. I mean, this is probably the paper of record. This is important. They have these people who are in the community listening to the podcasts. It's amazing. And now our ad is going to be alongside each and every one of these articles here. You can even scroll into it. It's going to be right in smack dab in the middle. And we know people actually read these articles. It was in the middle of one of the articles here as well. I mean, it's amazing. It's amazing. I'm hoping that we get a lot more clicks from Prosper High School than we do from Tomball High School. Tomball High School is pretty expensive, so maybe we'll pull advertising from Tomball over there and push into Prosper, which maybe even push into the local Prosper media as well, like the Prosper newspaper, Prosper proper television stations as well. I mean, look, we got eyes of some of these students here. They're going to be on here. We got someone from our Reddit ad. We'll probably edit them onto the next video that comes out. We'll see about that. But let's talk about cybersecurity. Cybersecurity is held as this really, really important thing that you need to stay focused on. We hear about these hackers around every corner, behind every door, right? It seems like it seems like that. Whenever we hear about hacking, we always think that people can just somehow randomly remote access into a computer. And I like to, give a counterpoint to that. That's probably not going to happen. Like, I mean, it doesn't even make sense. Everyone's like, oh, your computer, you can just randomly exploit it. Hackers on the internet. The internet is this big, scary place. And it's like hackers on the internet can instantly connect to your computer. And it's the market of just fear mongering, as well as just lies, as well as people just covering up what can and cannot be done. If we were to do a Google search right now and ask about, Wi-Fi hacking, or if someone were to hack into your computer or your security system, it's always like this. It's always like this. You say, oh, someone on your public access Wi-Fi. This is dangerous. This is bad. They can hack into any device on the network once they get access into your network, and they can pivot on, especially don't be on any guest Wi-Fi networks. For most new good security, but like here as well. For us like cybersecurity researchers as well. And in these articles, when you go and read these articles, we can actually do something live right now. You want to go read these articles. It's just going to tell you, oh, this can be done. Hackers on the internet can be done. People on the dark web can sell your information. But they never tell you where they get the information. They never tell you where it's stored. They never tell you like how someone on your Wi-Fi network, and we're just using a basic Windows computer. You have an iPad, a tablet, a Samsung tablet, a recently updated Samsung phone, Android phone. There's nothing on it. You don't have any ports open on your phone. It's useless, right? And it's like these people, they're like, oh, your entire files can be stolen. You know, they can actually get complete remote access to your computer. Do you know how hard that is? Even if you have, some ports open on your computer. Most people don't even have the file share turned on their computer. They just don't. They keep their files either on the computer or in the cloud when they want to share files with each other, which means they'd have to hack into Google Drive or OneDrive or something like that, which means you don't even need to be on the network to do that. I mean, you'd have to get their password. Most likely they have two-step verification on there, or they don't, and you just have to get their password. Okay, that's a different type of hacking. You don't need to be on their Wi-Fi network for that. Some people are like, oh, you can log in SMB brute force across the network, and not really. I mean, people use pins nowadays, Windows pins. And also, even if they were to get that, if you don't have your file share turned on, if I'm not mistaken, I don't think they can access any of your files. That's not how this works, at least on Windows computers. Everyone's like, oh, you can SSH vulnerabilities. Nobody has SSH turned on their computer. And that's just on Windows here, which is one of the most vulnerable operating systems. What they can do is if your computer's not up to date, maybe it's on XP, Vista, Windows 7 or something like that, maybe they can use Eternal Blue and get your files there as well. And then maybe then they can escalate into remote desktop access as well. But on Windows 10 and 11, it's been so locked down. You don't even have the ability to net send or message send across the network anymore unless you have a specific Windows 10 or 11 Pro license key, which I do, but I don't think anyone else has it here, so I don't think anyone's been able to do that as well. Everyone's talking about, oh, they can hack into your network. Even if they would do this, they hack into your network, they get into your Wi-Fi network or anything like that. Most likely, they're not going to be able to get into your computer unless you're running a computer that was last relevant when Bill Clinton was president. No. And let's say that they, intercept your browsing history. Maybe they'll get, the domain names or anything like that. But most browsers are A, smart enough to know if you're in one of those sniffing/spoofing attacks, and B, these browsers also, most websites are encrypted via HTTPS, so they're not really going to get any information. So the only thing that they really can do is set up a phishing attack. Right? I hear these stories of kids who did, grade changing schemes. What really got me into tech was Adventures in Odyssey. Nicholas Adams with the grade-changing scheme, remotely hacking into the computer in the 1993 episode, The Power. The Novacom saga, with the people talking over the website, with ARM, and you have the hidden cameras, and you have these dial-up modems, and remote access. Dial-in is dead. When's the last time any of you have even connected your computer to a phone? And by connect your computer to a phone, I mean a phone that actually plugs into the wall. And last week, we talked about this phone for kids that was $75 plus $9.99. That just used your house's Wi-Fi. Most of these phones, cordless phones, even so, are just using some sort of VoIP service. So it doesn't even matter. Like, you just be connecting. It's an infinite loop. You connect computers connected to Wi-Fi. Your phone's connected to Wi-Fi. Right. The only time you ever connect your phone to your computer is when you're using My Phone Link or whatever they do with the iPhones linked up to the MacBooks. Right, I was reading Reddit once, and this thread was 13 years old. And some student maybe accessed the gradebook because they use Excel to keep track of the students' grades, and these files are hosted over a network file share. At least in a district like the size of HISD or something they don't do that. You think they're keeping these thousands and thousands of kids, probably millions and millions of kids, grades just on some random Excel spreadsheet hosted over the Wi-Fi? Nah, they're using PowerSchool. Canvas. These are cloud-based solutions here. Cloud-based solutions that are, that cost millions and millions of dollars, not for the districts, but that's how much revenue they will be generating. Wait, you think these people are just having SQL injections on these? You cannot change your grades unless you hack into the computer or just steal the password from a teacher. That's a lot easier. Okay, it's not like your grades are just floating out there on some random Excel spreadsheet or something like that. We were talking about this before on some other recent podcast episodes. I'm gonna have to go back and search. Right, this grading program that was had the ability to be hosted over the network. No one's doing that. No one even hosts things over the network anymore, especially in home users and smaller users. Now, enterprise users, I don't know what they're using. Trying to update thousands of computers, like in enterprise or the United States military, is going to take, a long time. And you need these computers to be online all the time. So maybe they have not been updated since 2017 and thus are vulnerable to eternal blue. Well, what's the other thing? But like tablets and things like this? Nah, you not a chance. And there's this other thing where the student PC had some sort of remote access malware parental control access on it. He was able to reverse access it and get some student credentials, which gave him access over all the teacher computers, which was linked up to some PA system, and then he was able to change the PA messages. Okay, that was interesting. But that's not normal. That's not normal. And the truth of the matter is you didn't have to have that parental control remote access software on it already, which, and we're going to talk about parental control applications today. That's probably another reason why they're so bad, is that you're giving some random third-party access to it. But again, if your computer is normal, that's not going to happen to you. These websites make it seem like that, you click the wrong link and, your computer might end up, someone might end up on your network and just instantly remote accessing all the computers and just get onto this computer and pivot throughout the network. And this has been entirely mitigated by the fact that each and every one of us uses our computers like Chromebooks. I'm gonna harp this until the day I die. These kids in the Chick-fil-A, high school, college age, or whatever, they probably had some very sensitive data or something, but they're just up there, typing on Google Docs on their MacBooks. Hacking into the computer's not really going to do anything about that. Into the network's not really going to do anything about that. But you'd have to hack into the Google accounts, which has nothing to do, again, with the network. You think that they had their files shared across the network? Or, Windows used to have this thing called Home Group. They don't have that anymore. You think they did that? Everyone's like, oh, they can access into the network. No, they cannot. No one file shares across the network. No one. No one even knows what that is. No one has these random files just hosting across the network. At most, they have a NAS. Network attached storage device, so like a server that they can access on their own home Wi-Fi. People barely do anything with their computers. File conversion, browser. Typing, browser. Excel, spreadsheet, stuff like that, browser. Notes app, browser, or Notion, or whatever. AI, browser, obviously. ChatGPT, Gemini, Claude. I don't know why you use Claude, but it's there. Email, even email, browser. You know what this does? It totally eliminates the target surface. Think about everything that I just mentioned. Let's say you have Office 2003 or 7 on your computer. You got Word, Excel, PowerPoint. You're doing some stuff in there. Then you have some dedicated instant messaging client instead of using Instagram Web or I don't know what kids use to instant message, Snapchat or whatever. Then you have, your computer is able to be remote access if you dial it in, you dial the number. And then you also have, your files stored across the network because, you have like 20 gigabytes of hard drive storage. You need to, share it. And then you have, I don't know what else. What do people do with computers? Maybe like Photoshop. There you go. That's like, oh, and of course, Internet Explorer. It's like 7 programs that you can all scan the network for. You can try to find vulnerabilities for. Think about it. Office 2007 probably has some vulnerability. Internet Explorer, definitely some vulnerability. You click the wrong link, maybe something will happen. Maybe you don't even have a router. Maybe your computer is directly exposed to the internet. But nowadays, everyone's still playing like this is 2003. Okay? We've eliminated the phone, and it's behind a firewall and a router. We've eliminated half the software programs with just websites. I cannot think of a common software program that the average user uses today that's not in the cloud. Canva, Word, Wikipedia, they're replaced in Carta, ChatGPT, Google. I mean, is there anything that people run offline? Chrome is pretty secure. Edge is, it's secure, and also probably no one wants to attack it because no one uses it. And you got Windows. I'm assuming your computer's updated. I mean, is there a way to get into the computer? Probably yes. But here comes the second problem. All these gatekeepers. It's these dang gatekeepers that gatekeep this information. You want to know how to compile this? How to compile the small vulnerabilities that you might find on exploit DB or whatever exploit website that you use? Good luck, Charlie, on that one. Seriously, good luck and God bless. On that one for you guys. You guys, they're not going to tell you how to do this, and some of it is out of the kindness of their heart. They don't want random people, just finding exploits. But also, some of this is just, it's just, it's just, they're these Linux users. They wanna gatekeep. You guys know how I feel about the Linux users. They're so annoying. They have no lives. They just sit there with their computers, and they support the worst policies that have ever been supported on Earth. Okay, that is what these Linux users are. Now, not all of these Linux users. Okay, some of these people are good. They're great Linux users. I guess I would say I'm a Linux user because I've used it before, but it's not my main operating system. But you know what I mean. Okay, I'm still putting in my people onto the thing here, and my goodness, it seems skewed towards girls. But I guess we're the boys that are making the reels. I mean, that's what this is. I'm just going through my entire list here, and another thing that I've seen is, let me see what it says in the notes. I guess it's not in the notes anymore, but there is that. All right. Anyway, let's talk about the and that's the problem with cybersecurity research today. And I'm actually gonna go pull it up here on the website right here. Let me see here. Okay, I'm gonna type in something about like, what can an attacker do if they are on my Wi-Fi? All right, I'm going to show the screen here so you guys can see I'm not making this up. This is not like the custom Google search engine that I made. Oh, you can't see. So I'll just go put it into here. Okay. Now I'll show. All right, you can see the Google search clearly, right? You can see it. Make sure you guys can see this. I'm not making anything up. You can see it right there. Boom. We're not going to use AI mode. We're just going to use regular Google search. What can an attacker do if they're on my Wi-Fi? And let's look at the top 10 results. This is what the people are going to research anymore. I mean, people barely do any research. You want to look something up, you just screenshot the Gemini or the overview. They'll even screenshot the first 5 words that comes out of ChatGPT. Boom, I'm right. Okay. Anyway, so let's go through here. We're not going to look at the videos. Now, let's go through the top. Let's go through top 5 and then top 10. Top is hacking, the hacking subreddit here. So we'll open that into a new tab. But I'm going to go to the websites because most people are going to use the websites. All right. That's also another form, so we're going to skip over that. All right. Here you have Aura. Aura is like this security company. They want people to buy their service. And the top results, other than some of the forums that people aren't really going to read here. All right, this is what Aura themselves has to say. It was written and reviewed. It says your Wi-Fi may be prone to hacking things. Oh, yes. Almost talk about this. Router hacking. Everyone talks about, oh, your Wi-Fi router malware might be hacked. And then I looked it up, and I'm like, well, okay, then what? Like what exactly can be done? And you won't find anything. Yeah, you won't find much. Maybe you'll find something about I read something about some Huawei routers were hacked by the NSA. But the freaking NSA is like coming into your computer and trying to hack it. Okay. Here it is. Here can your Wi-Fi be hacked? It says approximately 1 in 16 internet-connected home Wi-Fi routers can be remotely accessed by attackers using the manufacturer's default admin password. Now, this might have been true, but our default admin password is completely random, and I have it memorized. I'm not going to say it here, but it's random. It's not a word. It's hard to get into. It says that, and then it's gonna say how they can be hacked. It doesn't really give any real actual examples. It says they can be brute forced. Like this is what it's something in command prompt. You just type in brute force Wi-Fi, and that's how you do it. You use the manufacturer's default password. People really phase that out. Exploiting vulnerability, DNS hacking, and then they say what can scammers do if they hack into your Wi-Fi? So they say they can monitor all of your unencrypted traffic. Yeah. Whose bank in the year of our Lord 2025 is using HTTP? Please tell me. I name and shame them, honestly. Or like a government website when you're entering your name and financial information, which address doesn't really matter because if they know your Wi-Fi network, they know where you live. Seeing as Wi-Fi only transmits like 200 feet, so I'm pretty sure they'll have some sort of an idea. It's not like they're hacking Wi-Fi from Kuwait over there. Nah, you gotta be like the neighbor's house or like inside the house. Okay, let's assume that you don't have a guest network. You just give your guest your regular password. What can they do with that? Let's move on. They can steal your identity and commit fraud. If, for some reason you're inputting your social security number on an unencrypted public web Wi-Fi or unencrypted network. And then it says, once your Wi-Fi network is hacked, scammers can gain remote access to any connected device with poor security settings, even thermostats. And then they might steal data. And there's a chain of routers, actually. No one is going to hack your thermostat. I mean, someone might. Like, I'm pretty sure of all the billions of people that have thermostats, someone's thermostat has been hacked once. Okay? I'm not saying it cannot be hacked. That's not what I'm saying. Okay? I'm pretty sure those thermostats are pretty insecure. I'm just saying, like, let's talk about, like, pivoting over into your computer over here. We're going to talk about, they might raise the temperature. Whoop-de-doo. Okay. Strange activity in your browser. DNS settings. Now, that is something that can actually happen as well. But it is unusual software on your devices. Yes, somehow hacking into your Wi-Fi network will cause your computer just start randomly downloading stuff. Or your phone. Or knows full well that is so unlikely going to happen. You cannot just beam, a virus onto someone's computer. Bro, I have access to this network myself. I cannot beam a virus onto my brother's tablet. I cannot just. I can't be like, wait, okay, so his phone is connected to the network. Let me just type in the number here. Boop, boop, boop. They got a virus. Boom, beam. That's not how phones work. That's not how computers work. And these companies know it. They know it. Like, could this happen maybe once? Yes. Okay. Fringe cases here. Okay. But like, you have a better chance of a home invasion, someone coming in and actually picking up the computer and taking out the hard drive and looking at it, than someone beaming data onto your phone or something like that via your Wi-Fi network. All right, now let's go to we're gonna go back to here it is here, Control D. It looks like another company that tries to sell something, Nord Security. I think I sell a VPN, so here we go. Control D. Yeah, they look like a security company here. This is the blog here. Let's see what Deepak Oidaya has to say to us. So they're going to go over what a Wi-Fi attack is. We all know what these are. Rogue access points where someone pretends to be a router. You have the evil twin, packet sniffing, war driving, spoofing attacks, man in the middle, DOS attacks, the whatever. Okay, so that's just coming from a place that this person somehow already got access to the network. Okay, let's move in. They're going to say how these work. Now, who's at risk? Okay. It's not saying what they can do. But it's not saying what they can do. Okay. And that's it with the top 10. Let's go back over to Nord Security. Here are the vulnerabilities. So they have physical hacking, which, I mean, that's called breaking and entering. You have some other problems going on here. Local hacking, so they hack into it, whatever. And remote access. All right, here we go. hearsay, but they say that can happen if once they gain access to the network. We don't want to know how, but they're gonna have persistent backdoors, remote device use. How? You cannot just start installing programs on random people's computers just because they're connected to the Wi-Fi. Redirect the traffic, launch social engineering attacks. That's actually a legitimate thing there as well. Or maybe use your router to pretend that it wasn't you. Okay, maybe that's one of two. Two of however many is on there. But I'm not saying security is not important, but it's the cybersecurity industrial complex. Forgive me for saying that. Is it's just based off of fear mongering. That's what this is. It's fear mongering. Because and it also lies. Well, not lies, but frustrating because no one explains to me, who's interested in cybersecurity, how this is even possible. Just someone hacked the network and then my computer just randomly got, malware on it. It's not like you had access to that spy program that the Redditor was talking about, where it could see the screen of the device, right? It's not like, you have access to someone's Wi-Fi, so now you can just install remote access Trojans on it. And secondly, this kind of demonstrates how boring our computing has got, that we're not talking about access to data on the device in most of these cases. We're not talking about anything that you can do on the device. In fact, some of these spy programs are actually a little bit more interesting because they have, terminal commands. You can see someone else's screen. You can control the computer from halfway across the world on land. But our computing has gotten so boring. It's just banking websites. You can just I don't know, read YouTube, read a website, scroll through your magazine, upload a photo to Instagram or whatever. In the 90s, you actually were diving into someone's computer if you wanted to remote access to it. And, the computing software would be running offline. Or maybe even shared across the network. When's the last time anyone, I was reading about these kids again on Reddit, they hit this program called Doom or some other video game on the network, and they could access it from any computer on the network. So they just log in, type in the file share, and they could play the game hosted across the network. When's the last time any of you have actually hosted a program, not just one, but any program, on the network, not on the server, not on the internet? I'm not talking about internet gaming, but actually just have a computer program. No one's done that. Most programs don't even support that. I don't even think you can do that with Word. It's not like you can have 5 people on the same Word document, all typing together over the same network. Not Word Online, but just say a regular version of Word. That's not how it works. Okay, Microsoft, one copy of Word for one computer. Okay, even if it's the same computer and you have the different account, I'm not even sure if they'll let you do that. Okay, yeah, you think they'll let you type on a network, and people don't even do this, especially if the one computer program to use is the browser. No one's gonna be okay, let's just gain access to the browser. All right. Now, the one thing that you probably do have to look out for is if you go to a vulnerable website and it has something in it like Beef. Beef is a browser exploitation framework, and it lets you maybe infect the website and fish for credentials, which is pretty cool. I think I've talked about it before. I think my headphones are charged up enough, so I'm going to go in, finish putting in the list so that we can do the spinner, and then we're going to be reacting to the iPhone 17 series of devices right now, which I have some thoughts. Not some very nice thoughts, but this is a pretty interesting devices here. So I want to make sure that the mic is still on, and it's going to, okay, regular mic, camera still on, audio on. All right, this is the iPhone 17 series of devices. Here's the Mr. Who's the Boss reacting to the content. All right, let's turn to Chief.
I've just spent the last few hours hands-on with every new iPhone. So that's the...
I've
just spent the last few hours...
Again, the iPhone design is growing on me, even though it should not. I do not like this design. I should not like this design. I don't know what this ridiculous... what is this nonsense two-tone design going on here? And also, why did Apple invade India and steal the Poco designs? Why do you have all this space here? Why? And once again, I'm once again asking these companies to just lift up the backs and make everything flush with the camera and the camera bump and just add an extra battery. That's what we want. That's what we want.
I was hands-on with every new iPhone. So that's the way better than expected iPhone 17, this shockingly thin new iPhone Air, and then the big boys, the 17 Pro and Pro Max. I'm not gonna lie to you, after the very slow event last year, this one is a complete reshuffle. Like, this one changes.
Like, is it really? Okay, everyone's acting like this. And we go back to the age-old question, which is like five weeks old. Once I started asking this, it's gonna be used for the same applications and stuff. Same stuff.
How I see the entire iPhone lineup. Because it starts with the basic iPhone 17.
Which, I mean, come on. Come on. This is the next generation of iPhone technology. Uh-huh. Bro, you could be holding an iPhone 16 and lying to us, and no one would know. And once again, Apple has released a phone in the year of our Lord, 2025. Mind I remind you, it is September 2025. That only has 2 cameras in this. Like even Google stopped doing that. And people are just gonna sit here and take it? Why? Seriously, why?
Which, you know, when you first look at it, it's almost identical to the iPhone 16 last year. The same camera layout, the same buttons, super familiar design. But then you turn it on and you realize this is not a basic iPhone anymore. In fact, this is a full-on Pro iPhone now. Like the display. It's got the same size body, but it's now a 6.3-inch screen compared to...
I do like that. I do like that. Now, and I'm hoping Samsung does that as well. You know, Samsung did that, not as drastically, but with the S24 Ultra, they had 6.8 inches, and on the S25 Ultra, 6.9 inches, but they just smoothed out the bezels. They did take some things away, unfortunately. You know, they took away the Bluetooth functionality from the S Pen, which I do not know why they did that. It puts their pin on the line as the same as Samsung, as Motorola's, which feels like a rat.
6.1, which also means the bezels are now the thinnest ever on an iPhone. And yes, sometimes these bezel improvements need a microscope for you to be able to tell. Not this one. This
does kind of look weird. Like, it looks like the phone is kind of like about to spill out.
Pretty immediately obvious when you look at this compared to the previous phone. It's got a tougher ceramic shield 2 coating on it. They say it's 3 times more resistant to scratches, but to be fair, I'm pretty sure the random particles in my pocket will still find a way. But also,
I don't really know what he's talking about. I've never had an iPhone. I don't think I've ever put an iPhone in my pocket, but on my phone, you know, it's kind of like maybe a little bit sticky or anything like that, but it's not scratched from dust or anything.
This is like the easiest to read that an iPhone display has ever been. Even in this super bright room where you can kind of tell that my older 16 is struggling. And that's partly the fact that the 17 now has...
Which one's the 16? The green one's the 7. Yeah, there we go. I mean, they kind of look the same to me, especially when you go back and look at the time. Like, it's pretty... It's not a good backdrop for it.
The Pro's 3000 nits of brightness.
Which, that is great. That is great. I was having some trouble seeing my phone. This phone is like losing battery rapidly. I have to take public transit. I always make sure I use my case, everyday case carry. Make sure it's always charged up. But then I just switched over to light mode, so it got better. So I like to do a comparison of standing outside in the hot Houston sun. I don't know, 4 o'clock, 12 noon, 3 o'clock, whatever the hottest time of the day is this time of the year. Compare it to my phone on light mode compared to the iPhone. 3000 nits of brightness, that is a good improvement.
But it also has an anti-reflective coating, which we've never had on an iPhone. So have a look here. You know where the light is hitting the screens? Can you see how there is a little bit less of a visual interruption?
I mean, yeah, kind of. You know, when Samsung talked about that, I didn't really see much of a change anyway. But
from it now. And it's all topped off with ProMotion, meaning that this is now a 120 Hz display.
Which, I mean, finally. I mean, people were criticizing Samsung for not doing this back in 2019 with the Samsung Galaxy S10. Again, they finally did it on the S20, especially the Note 10. I mean, they finally did this on the S20. Boom! 5 years! 5 years! Okay, let's not sit here and be like, oh, great innovation he's sitting here from Apple. And they still sell the 16E as a brand new phone. Like, it's their budget phone. You don't need a 120 Hz display. I do notice it.
It can also go all the way down to 1 Hz for the always-on mode. And I mean, on one hand, they had to do this eventually. You know, we've given the iPhone like a once-a-year annual roasting session every time Apple has announced a new phone that still happens to have a 60Hz display. But then on the other hand, it's just so un-Apple to actually release a Pro-branded feature on the base iPhone.
Well, I mean, they had to. First of all, they're running out of features to give to the phones. And it's been 5 years. It would have been 6 if they didn't. Maybe even 7 if you count, some other brands that did it, like OnePlus before the Samsung did. Like,
part of me still thought that this phone would forever be doomed because the kinds of people buying it just wouldn't care about 120Hz. I've never been...
Yeah, I mean, the kinds of people buying it are just, sitting there taking their mirror selfies. I called this, the 16, the most patriotic phone, because remember that video of the woman in the day of her life? She's just standing there in like workout gear, like taking a picture or whatever. She doesn't care. She just wants to be able to edit this on, TikTok or CapCut or whatever. And once again, taking this back to cybersecurity, some of these people, they don't even have computers. They just use their phones. Like some people in Gen Z, not because they can't afford them. I mean, they have $1,000 phone. The computer would have been less expensive, but it's just like, honestly, like, what do they need it for? Think about it. Messaging. Got 50 million messaging apps. Instagram, Snapchat, the iMessage app, and whatever the other messaging applications are used. You want to take the pictures? You can do little basic edits. You got Photoshop on there if you need it. They don't, but you got it. And your little vertical videos, Instagram's built-in editor or the new editor edits, which is actually pretty good, is good enough for them. So there we have it. And no, your phone cannot be exploited across the network. And you got Safari on there if you want to use the internet or whatever. So once again, cybersecurity professionals need to take a step out of 2003 and into the year of our Lord 2025.
Been more glad to be wrong. The cameras are better too. The ultra-wide has gone from 12 megapixel to 48, which is in line with the pros, and that will also improve your close-up macro photography because it uses the same camera. With also this ability...
I'm excited to see a camera shootout between this and S25 FE and the S25 Plus.
To record from both the front camera and your rear cameras at the same time.
Yes, which was a feature released on the Samsung Galaxy S4 back in 2013. For context, I was 6. So I have gone 12 years. 12 years of my life of Apple not having this feature.
Really know what this is for. Like, I can't imagine this becoming the next TikTok meta.
Which again, why? I use this feature all the time. I did a vlog back in the Woodlands doing this. Twice, actually. No, even twice. I did one at Target. Wait. It might be twice or thrice. I'm not sure. I might have merged them together. But I've used this feature so many times. I mean, people video call their friends all the time. They take Snapchats of their noses up at 3 in the morning. They video call people over I guess, FaceTime. Which I don't understand why they just video call them and then just use FaceTime audio. When it's like you have a phone and is it like phone calls are free with every phone plan nowadays. Okay, it's not 2003 and you're like, oh, you get 1 billion minutes on the weekend only between 6 and 6 in the morning. So you get 1 billion minutes there, but it's $1 a text message for the rest. That's not how the world works anymore. Text messages and minutes are free. Which honestly, I think we should capitalize on that. Back then, for some reason, when you actually had to pay for text messages, Google was running a service where you could text and get something Googled. We should bring that back. Text to ChatGPT. Maybe get some type of some way to transmit the internet over a phone call. We did it in the 90s. We can do it now. Instead of doing the reverse, where you're transmitting phone calls over the internet, we should be transmitting the internet over our cellular phone calls. We should be transmitting the internet over text messaging data. I mean, data is still expensive. Well, it still costs money. It's not as expensive as it did back then, but especially if you're on a prepaid plan, this could be great.
but the implementation is slick. I do like how you can drag the bubble to decide where you want your face cam to be, and then how that reflects in the final footage. But the really interesting thing that no one saw coming is what is happening with the front camera. So they upgraded the camera from being able to take 12 megapixel photos to now taking 18 megapixel ones. But
which, I'm not really sure how much it matters. Samsung used to be at 40, now they're at 12. Back in 2014, Samsung went from 12 to 16 on the back camera with the Note 4. Megapixel count, is not everything.
this is now a square camera sensor, which means you can take vertical selfies and you can take horizontal selfies no matter which way you're holding the phone up. This is so cool. The shots are wider than before.
I mean, that's cool, I guess. But and hopefully maybe Samsung does this too. But I'm like, is this hard enough? Is this that hard? I mean, come on, lazy. But you can't do this. I mean, I don't like. You're gonna get carpal tunnel syndrome. Like, okay, well, that's a selfie there. Zoom out. Okay, that's a selfie there. Okay. Congratulations. I'm so glad, proud of you, Apple.
They're more detailed than before, and it also has center stage, which means the camera can automatically go out wider and follow you around when you're on a FaceTime call. It really does feel like, after years of purposefully nerfing the base iPhones to keep the Pros as attractive as possible, Apple's just decided that this year is the year that they rip the Band-Aid off entirely. Like a pop.
This isn't a Pro phone. Like, honestly, the argument could be made that the only Pro phones would be the Samsung Galaxy S Ultra line of devices, because they have the stylus and they have the ultra zoom, the Samsung Galaxy and other companies' folding phones, and maybe like the Sony phones, because they're just like there for cameras. You can connect them to your Sony Alpha cameras as well.
From the missing telephoto camera, there is such little missing here that I think this is by far the best value phone in the lineup. Because the iPhone 17 now also charges faster than last generation 16. It has an extra 8 hours of battery life if you're watching videos, at least.
We don't know that. I mean, Apple says that. But, there'll be like iPod quality videos. Okay, like not 4K. I think it's like disconnected from the internet, which no one downloads videos or movies anymore. I don't even know how we can buy them, because people just upload them to YouTube.
According to Apple, it's got the new A19 chip, which doesn't feel like a mind-blowing upgrade, but still, that's an extra 20% performance. And then
for what? For freaking what? The teens that buy this phone, which I'm gonna make a prediction here. The teens probably aren't gonna go for this phone unless they're like upgrading or whatever. I think they're all gonna go for the Pros, because it's gonna look just like the 16. You can lie straight to someone's face and say, "Hey, this is the iPhone 17 right here," and they might believe it. Unless you want to take a selfie with them, then I'm like, it doesn't have the feature. Me poor. Like, I mean, you can tell the difference between the S24 and the S23. Obviously, between the S20 series as well. I think they might go for the Pros. One, those weird new colors and the stupid Poco infused design.
In like the most un-Apple-like move ever, they upgraded the storage to 256 gigs from 128. And the moment they said
that's cool,
that I was so sure, like I'd already started writing that they were going to bump the price up to $899, but they didn't. This is the same $799 starting price as last year. Honestly, if I bought an iPhone 16 at full price, I'd be crying right now. But then we've got the...
Yeah, well, I mean, everyone's been seeing these memes. And the people are like, oh, I bought the iPhone 16 Pro like a day before the event.
Completely new, 900...
I do. Why does this exist? Apple is the only company on God's green earth that can charge $999 for a flagship phone in the year of our Lord, 2025. I'm going to repeat that, 2025, and only have one camera on there. Don't listen to Apple and they like, oh, it has two cameras, actually, if you zoom in. Well, oh, really? Well, my camera can go from 0.6 to 100. So I'm just going to say one to make this easy. That means my phone has 100 cameras on it. Actually, if we take it and we go in every point, 1, 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, 0.4, 0.5, 0.6, that's 1,000 cameras on this thing. Sure, it only looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, No, it's a laser sensor, but I mean, maybe it looks like cameras will want to count that too. 5. So it may look like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, but who knows? It actually has 1,000 cameras on this device because it can zoom in up to 100 times. Apple, no, that's one camera, and you were charging $1,000 for this. Back in 2017, when the first $1,000 phone, the iPhone 10, hit the market, and at least it had the common decency to have 2 cameras on it. I mean, at least you had some telephoto zoom on it. And then you released the 10R, and it had 1 camera on it, but it's $750. So, it had the fun colors, so people were fine with it, and all the teens liked it. And with the SEs, you had the design from 2007, but, at least it was for like $499, $399, something like that. So people were fine with that. That's ridiculous. 1 camera? 1? And what, it's thin? What is this, a dating show? What is this, Tinder? Oh, I want a phone to be thin. Okay, congratulations. This isn't a dating show. Okay, you don't get to pick your body type here. You know what you want? A battery in the phone.
$199 iPhone Air. And this is where things get very interesting. So this is Apple's latest attempt at filling that awkward middle child slot in their lineup.
Who is asking for this? Now, when people are going to buy this, yeah, it's going to be like a status symbol, right? This would kind of be the phone that Lauren Tipton, whatever her name is, would buy. Oh wow, it's shiny and skinny. Like, okay, I can understand how someone could like someone who's skinny, like a person. That's actually usually a sign of health. On a phone, it's not. It's the reverse. It's like, okay, it's pretty, I guess, but remember this. Prettiness is not a virtue. Okay? And this phone doesn't even come with pretty privilege. No one's going to be giving you extra, money or help or whatever, just because you have this phone. They'll be sitting there laughing at you. The only help that you're going to be needing is a dang charger because your battery's going to die at 12 o'clock in the morning. It's just like, they made a custom MagSafe case for it because they know it's going to die. I can only think of one scenario in which this phone would be even remotely useful. And it's a scenario in which I got myself into. I'm going to talk about this. Remember how that time I saved Summer? Remember when I saved Summer from Damien when he was getting chased around? So here's the setup. We planned this operation with Gcam to give Damien a fake phone number and distract him. And unfortunately, it leaks because it leaked. Anyway, I'm not gonna blame people here because this is going on Instagram, and I might get comments. So there's that. Anyway, it leaked, and I ended up getting chased behind the woods, and so I came back in, and then I hid inside of the gym, like inside of a rug. Okay, and people were like shooting balls at there, but the rug was still there, just like Fort McHenry. Right, but before that, I hid and locked myself into the room. And there's people banging on the door. They said they were Gcam. But I couldn't be sure. So I stuck the phone under the door and I had to check on my camera to make sure that it was them and not, people pretending to be them. Like high-pitched voices coming and try to scare me in. And then they came in. I tried to explain stuff to them. Communications broke down. They laughed, so I didn't hid into the rug. And then they started shooting missiles at me. Damien and his friends started shooting missiles at me. The only scenario in which this is important is in an SSA LTW story in which we are trying to defend Summer, and also make sure that Crush War 3 doesn't spark off and SSA doesn't collapse. Okay, so the only scenario is if you are running from a bully and you need to make sure that the bully's not at the door, then you can stick your iPhone Air under the door. Yeah, which that is not even top 10 on the priority list. We got to make sure that Crush War 3 does not spark off with, SSA Summer Crush rumors, and we have the Nika situation all over again. Because you know how hard it would have been to have to kind of ally with Gcam and then, spark off into a Crush War 3 against the broader school, I guess say 10th and 11th grade, with JVN trying to swoop in on the SSA. SSA is kind of in the proxy war of Gcam and also in the proxy war against the entire school, with Damien also targeting against Gcam, so SSA has to defend Gcam. No, so we have to make sure that didn't happen. We also have to make sure SSA didn't collapse, because if SSA collapsed, power vacuum. Remember what happened to Valerie and Hazel? We just sit there for one time and Hazel is milked. She's gone. It's over. Would the iPhone Air have helped you? No, because the S22 Plus was skinny enough to fit under the door. Probably when I was running out to the woods and the bushes and calling people and texting people and on my walkie-talkie and, being like, 1098, 1098. iPhone Air probably would have fallen in mud, gotten stepped on, broke, and split in half. You need durability. When my phone fell out of the mall and skid 50 feet down the concrete path, the iPhone Air would have been in pieces. It would have been in the gutter. All years and years of SSA data would have been gone. No micro SD card slot, of course. All high-tech notes and lists of people's passwords and secrets and photos and all of that. I mean, at least it didn't fall into Damien's hands, but I mean, it fell down the dang gutter. So, buy that. So, would the iPhone Air have helped us in some investigation? No. Maybe we could have stuck it under it in between a crack somewhere or something like that. Like the Spynet watch of 2012. But it would have gotten crushed. It would have been over. Honestly, the phone getting crushed would have been worse than having to go and fight a crush war against Damien and against 10th and 9th grade. And yes, we did fight. One was 1.5 weeks long, and some of them safe. The Damien threat was gone. SSAL lasted him. So there was that. But you know what would not have outlasted this? The iPhone 17 Air, or just the iPhone Air, as they call it. So, there.
In 2020, they made the iPhone Mini, but then realized that no one wanted mini phones.
Well, except for Crush War Crispy Lamond, who has announced. Oh wait, we got a chat here. Hello, Kate. Anyway, Crush War Crispy Lamond has upgraded to the Samsung Galaxy A36. Let's go. But she doesn't like it because she wants a little small phone, which is why there's an article on the website about using your phone in one-handed mode. Also, Crush War Crispy Lamont is coming to the United States of America. Let's go. That's what most people would say. But the smart people know that Crush War Crispy Lamont is here so that she can rendezvous with her top agent MI6 in an effort to spy on SSA. That is what she's doing. Okay, Crush War Crispy Lamont may be saying that she's coming into the country. She's going to become an American. But she's a Canadian spy. That is what she is. And we have to be on the lookout for her. And once again, Instagram. I'm just looking here. I paid Instagram good money, $41, $42 actually, to promote my advertisement here. And I had it set. I didn't want to use my followers. Okay, so I used it because apparently my followers are like people who only follow like one follower account. 2 people have liked the reel, which means I know that this ad is getting some engagement here. Yes, this person has 158 photos and no pictures of them. And this person with a no post, 1 follower, and 423 following. And probably no pictures of them. And it's just 2 private accounts. So there is that. I'm paying Instagram money, good money, for these, bums, absolute bums. So see this. We need these people, that we're showing on here, on the Teen of the Week segment, to be saying this. Look, we want the people on here to at least have more followers than us. That is how this works. Okay, I'm not advertising so I can. Well, I want to bring these people up as well. But I mean, I'm paying money. Okay, I'm not paying money out of the kindness of my heart. Anyway, here's the iPhone Air.
Then in 2022, they changed that for the Plus, which failed too because it just didn't do enough differently. So instead,
I mean, I don't understand why. I mean, the S20 Plus series, I like that.
Instead of shrinking or stretching, Apple's decided that now it's time to try flattening. And I'm going to be honest with you, this phone absolutely creates an impression. Like the first time I picked the thing up, my mouth involuntarily formed a silent O as I truly came to
I need to get to the Apple store to review this. I'll probably do that next because I'm trying to get to do a store in the Woodlands Mall and have an Apple store there. I want to do the tech behind their series.
Comes with how at 5.6 millimeters. This is thinner than any previous iPhone. This is thinner than Samsung's ultra slim Galaxy.
Also 5.6 millimeters. There's a Vivo phone that's still thinner than it and has a headphone jack. It's like 4.4 something millimeters. The Vivo X5 Max at 4.75 millimeters of thinness. So
Galaxy S25 Edge, the thing's thinner than a pencil. But the other thing is, it also feels a lot more luxury than I was expecting it to. When I watched the thing get announced, I thought, oh, it looks kind of flimsy and so light that it's a bit cheap. But it really doesn't feel it, especially with this glossy titanium rail going all the way around the sides and the ceramic shield that you've now got on the back. I think the 17 Air is made for the kind of person who cares enough about their phone to not just take the base 17.
The base 17 is legitimately better than this. Like, the camera, the battery life.
But also someone who isn't so into the specs that they'll worry about what they're missing compared to the pros. And I think if you
This phone is just for trends, it's for vibes.
Are that kind of person, you will look at this Air, you will compare it to all past experiences you've had with iPhones, and you will think this is a miracle. But I see this product kind of like the really hot girl that you probably shouldn't try to date.
For what? And no comment on that. You know, I should proofread these videos more often, I guess.
You know it's bad news. You know it's not going to last. But let's be honest, you're probably going to try your luck anyway. But the truth is,
Yeah. So on that, I'm not really sure what would be worse: dating someone or buying this phone. Which one would threaten national security the least?
you're making two pretty fundamental compromises for this thinness. The battery, which Apple helpfully tells us is still an all-day battery, but
Yeah, well, they told us that about the Apple Watch, and they also meant 18 hours. So, you know, in Apple's world, 2 cameras equals 4, 1 camera equals 2, and 18 hours equals 24. So,
whose day? So this is a smaller battery than you get on every other iPhone released this year. And it doesn't exactly reassure me that Apple has specifically made a MagSafe power bank designed to slip onto the Air, and that when they quoted the battery life of the Air, they quoted the figure that assumed you had this battery pack attached. But then, according to Apple, because of all the efficiency improvements of their new A19 chips and this new N1 chip that handles Wi-Fi and Bluetooth and AirDrop, that this tiny sliver of a phone has the same battery life as the 16 Pro. I mean, if that's...
who believes that? Who? If this was true, if that is true, then they should use the same exact tech and double or triple the battery in the larger phones, and it's going to be battery kings. These phones be able to, like, I don't know, play PS5 games for 40 hours straight. Like, if that is true, does anyone actually believe that the super thick Pro 16 Pro phone lasts as long as the 17 Air? Like, what was the 16 Pro battery like that bad? Like, no one believes this. What is this?
It's true, that is absolutely bonkers. I will start prepping the battery test immediately. But sadly, it's not just battery. You're also getting slower charging. You're only getting one speaker, which is really poor in 2025. And then the other big one is you're also...
I wish it could, you know, you put it on the thing, on like a device, like the Berkeley Blade speaker that I reviewed, still one of the most popular videos. And it turns that object into a speaker. So that could be actually pretty nice. Neat feature.
Losing the ultra-wide camera that you would have had on the normal iPhone 17. And yeah, the one camera you do get is a decent 48 megapixel sensor, basically the same as the one on the 17. But this does mean this is a single rear camera on a $1,000 phone in almost 2026, which...
Only Apple. Or if Samsung did something that ridiculous, they would get drug across absolute drug. Like Samsung, it would probably be almost as bad as when the Note 7 blew up. Like, they would get drug. Samsung has not released a flagship phone with only one camera on it since 2017, when they released the Samsung Galaxy S8. S9 had one camera. Sorry, there we go. But only that, so 2018. There we go. Since 2018. Drug. 7 years.
Tell me that's not form over function. I mean, to be fair, it might work for Apple. It's exactly what they did with the MacBook Air, and that's now their best-selling laptop by a...
Yeah, but I mean, the MacBook Air has, you know, at least had back then some ports. You know, it's, you know, and, you know, people just want to be typing stuff on it. People, any given day, Instagram is at least top 5 in the App Store. Let's go check into the Play Store. Top charts. on. Oh, that's the games. We're going to the top charts again to see. Oh wait, Instagram is number 7, so they have fallen out of the App Store rankings. But I'm going to give it 5 because TikTok is on there twice as TikTok and TikTok Lite. That really shouldn't count. So that would give it 6. There we go. Yeah, so 6. It's always in their top 10. Instagram, photo sharing application. TikTok, video sharing application. So I mean, photo taking is a pretty big thing. Actually, those viral videos do not make themselves most of the time.
Mile. But my take is that the weight and the thickness of a normal phone it's not enough of a problem to need this drastic of a.
I mean, I agree. True. And look at this. I mean, I'm carrying around a brick over here. Someone tries to attack me, I'll just put the phone in SOS mode and just like throw the phone like I'm throwing touchdown pass, touchdown, Houston. So
It's a very alluring phone, and you can so see how they're going to market it to the average consumer as a way to get pro performance, since it does.
Pro performance, the thing's going to turn into a toaster. You use that thing, you can bake eggs on the back of it.
Come with the new, more powerful A19 Pro chip, but I actually think there'll be a very large difference in how that chip performs in this compared to in the actual Pro phones. So let's talk about this.
Imagine I take that thing outside in Houston heat. My phone here, and I know the case probably contributes to some of that. It's a black case, it's big, so it probably absorbs some of the heat here. You got the titanium. My phone here. I stand outside. I'm using GPS navigation. Or maybe reading something online and have a picture of some movie or YouTube video, it's going to tell me it's going to get hot. It's going to have to cycle back down into dark mode, right? That thing? It's going to get so hot, you got to drop it. Oh, no.
Those pros. I think the fact that the base iPhone 17 now has all the previously pro features, and that the Air has become the pretty phone, the phone for people who just want their device to look sexy, means that this year it really feels like Apple has been freed up to just prioritize function over form.
This thing looks like it's something that's be in a toolbox. Like this orange, it looks kind of like a rugged phone or like an emergency button.
On these models. These are the most clearly actually made for pro iPhones I've ever seen, which is
also this is going to be horrible on the movie industry. Like everyone's going to know that's an iPhone even if you recover up the logo. Like see that thing from space.
Probably why they now feel comfortable charging the new higher prices of $1,099 for the Pro, which is pretty much the highest amount
this
anyone.
Thing looks like they put it together and you can take it apart. Like, oh, you want your battery here, you're gonna put the camera here. It looks like it should be held together with screws.
Charging for a non-XL size device, and then $1,199 for the Pro Max. So there's a few ways you can see this function-first approach.
Look at this, it's hanging from this. I don't know what it's hanging from, but it looks like some kid built it together in one of those build your own something kits.
In action. Like the first is, these are thicker. Both the 17 Pro and the 17 Pro Max, they're almost 8% thicker than their previous counterparts, which is by its nature less stylish, but you know what makes a phone truly beautiful? It is just having a big, fat battery on the inside. And that these do.
And that's what I agree.
Apple's saying you'll get up to 33 hours of battery on the 17 Pro, which is a very healthy jump from the 27 on the 16 Pro, and then 13.
Oh, you mean to tell me that the iPhone Air gets 27 hours of battery life, and yet with this phone that is thicker and has a lot more space in it, it only gets 6 extra? Whoa, 2 iPhone Airs equals one of these phones. According to this, 2 iPhone Airs should last almost 60 hours long.
9 on the Pro Max this time. All while having the side effect that I'm absolutely sure Apple has thought through of making the Air look even thinner when you hold them side.
Well, yes. For the ultra-rich among us who have $2,000 to spend on 2 completely different phones, I'm sure that we will notice. That'll be great. Okay, this is like what? Is this supposed to be like a phone for women, and this is a phone for like a carpenter man who's out there, banging wood or something? Like, what is this? You see, he's out there doing fashion shows.
side by side. But there's more. You'll also notice these Pros look very different to last year's. Again, there is functional reason. You might know that for a long time now, pretty much every smartphone has had metal all around the sides and then a glass sheet across the back, because you can still wirelessly charge your phone through glass. But there's a problem. Glass is absolutely terrible at dissipating heat. So this time, the iPhone 17 Pros are metal everywhere, except the specific zone where they have to be glass, or I guess ceramic shield this time.
Oh, okay. So that's why they have that weird-looking thing on it, like a stage.
Time around. This kind of window from here to here. So they've sacrificed on the minimalism of the design, but this metal should be, like, no exaggeration, 200 times better at getting heat from inside the phone to outside the phone, which is
You don't have to hold it, dude. Oh my gosh.
also paired with a vapor chamber for the first time ever on an iPhone, and a swap from titanium as the metal of choice to aluminium. Which, look,
That's crazy, bro. Like,
choice to go with aluminium is fine. It's a very standard material that's still used in many flagship phones, and it might be an improvement. It's lighter than titanium, it's over 10 times more conductive, it's easier to color, which is the only reason how they've been able to make the first actually interesting Pro iPhone color in far too long. This bronzy orange, which is definitely the one that I'm going to try and get. My issue...
Yeah, it's a pretty interesting color there. You know, I used to have a green phone. You know, if I ever upgraded my phone, which I am seriously considering the battery life on this thing just like dies. Like, the standby time is atrocious. What is this thing? I might even switch over to new. That's how bad this is. It's horrible.
With this situation is that Apple just switched to titanium 2 years ago. And when they did that, they made a massive deal about it. It was the headline feature of the iPhone 15 Pros. And they didn't stop talking about how much more beautiful the phones were because of this titanium. So it just feels a little bit cheeky to now quietly be like, it's aluminium, like every other phone.
They should have put like one piece of titanium in there and been like, okay, we got titanium somewhere.
And then proudly talk about all the reasons why the new phones are better that are just because it is aluminium. But anyway, put all these things together and the iPhone 17 Pros should run a lot cooler, which is not the most exciting thing in the world, but it is needed. It'll make the phones
a nice animation too. I will not lie.
Perform a lot better, especially with the new A19 Pro chip. I tried some gaming on this and I'm not normally too taken aback by mobile gaming.
I'm hoping that frame drop was from the video but not from the game, because that was some lag right there. I'm gonna assume it's the video.
Demos, but this actually was.
This looks like Wii Sports here. Like, look at this, the ground.
The most graphically impressive.
Also, like, what are these games? Everyone shows like these interesting games here, and you know what we're stuck with here is let's go back over to the top 10. Freaking Dragon Ball, Genshin Squadra, some card game, Roblox, and Blockbuster game.
Smooth gaming experience I have ever had on a smartphone. They should charge faster, because charging is also programmed to slow down when things get hot. Honestly, I'll be happy if this just means my phone won't dim its screen to 0 brightness the minute the weather forecast changes to predict sun. But the thing that...
Which is not good, seeing as he lives in England. He lives in England, okay? They almost die when it's like 72 degrees outside. They call it a heat wave. So, you know, you try to use that in the United States, things are going to be dead.
What I'm most curious about is what's happening with the cameras. So the Pros get the same square front camera sensor that can do both orientations. And the other big change is the telephoto camera is going from 5 times optical zoom with a 12 megapixel resolution to 4 times optical zoom, but with a...
Which is that's a fine change. Okay, now Samsung, they do 3 and 5, so that's different. But like, that's a fine change.
48 megapixel resolution, which should actually be a double-sided upgrade, because it means that when you're zooming in, you don't have to wait all the way till 5 times before your telephoto camera kicks in. So the quality
Who's this
in
guy you're spying on? Oh my gosh.
Early part of your zoom is better, but also because you have 4 times the number of pixels, even though the optical zoom number is slightly lower, it should mean your photos look better, even when you go really far in. And that's the iPhone 17s.
That is the iPhone 17 series. Really interesting. Hope to get my hands on an Air. So, yeah. There is that as well. Now, over the past few, I guess, days, as you guys know, unfortunately, Charlie Cook was assassinated, and they caught the killer, which is great. And there's this picture of the killer who, I guess, when he was a child, he was into computers. Let me see if I can pull this up on the screen. What is this ad block thing? Can you guys see this? You can, unfortunately. Anyway, they caught the killer, and this is a picture I guess his mom posted of him a few years ago, back in 2013. And it's just him sitting at the computer with headphones on, I guess gaming or doing something like that. And of course, the people of the internet, instead of condemning him, well, I guess that some of them are condemning him, they're like blaming the computer and the internet. And I just want to say that one, no, that's not how this works. And some of them are also going in and talking about parental control applications and trying to give me advice, saying that I should become this parental control application seller as a kid on the internet. And I'm like, no, I'm not going to compromise my values. No, I'm not going to sit here and shield for ImSpy or whatever and be like, yes, I actually want parental control applications. So like, oh, well, see, parental control would have stopped the internet from getting to him, and he would not have committed this crime. No, the internet did not buy the gun. The internet did not push the shooter up onto the roof. The internet did not make him climb up there. The internet did not pull the trigger. He made his choice. He did it under his own volition, and his evil heart did this. The internet can do many things, but it cannot cause you to murder someone. It's a choice that you decide that you are responsible for your own actions, not the internet. The internet is just a global system of computers. And some of these people I've gone back and forth with, they're like, oh, well, his headphones caused him to separate off from the world, and he was in these chat rooms with people and stuff like that. And they're like, oh, they're not trying to go after your hobby or business. Yes, they are. I will not stand for people trying to, take computers away from others just because bad things happen. Bad things happen all the time. Like, I mean, this kind of language is essentially accusing me of this. That was me a few years ago. Sitting on my headphones, listening to Adventures in Odyssey, and typing an article over TheTechBoy.org. And for this thing like internet safety, I think once again it is fear-mongering. Once again, it's fear-mongering. They're like, oh, your kid could grow up to do something like this. Oh, the bad things on the internet. Look, if you're at least a little bit smart, just a little bit smart, and you're not, guys, here's a few basic internet safety tips. And it's so much fear-mongering. Like, oh, the internet's a big, scary place. Don't, if someone's talking to you or chatting with you, don't be giving out personal information. Don't give your address out there. Don't take inappropriate pictures. If you're in a room and someone's people talking about, trying to commit some crimes, leave. Don't talk to creepy people on the internet. How is this hard? And some of these people are like, oh, we need to homeschool our kids. I don't want my kids to grow up. And I don't want them to know that you can talk to people on the internet. I'm like, email existed in the 70s. Like, by the time your kid is, like 10, it will be historical. Like, it's going to be in history books what email is. Okay, like, imagine they grow up and you don't know what that the internet is and you can talk to people on it. Like, okay, come on now. And they're like, oh, well, parental control would have stopped this. One, the shooter was 22. What? Parental control when he's at college? And B, no, it wouldn't. If you're planning to commit crimes over the internet and that you know that your phone is tapped, if you're planning to commit a crime that grave, assassination, you don't think that he might, steal someone else's phone and connect to a public Wi-Fi hotspot and so that his phone's not tapped? If someone is going to do that, parental control is not going to stop you. It's not going to stop you from doing this. They're just going to leave. What do they expect? Like, these people think that the internet is some sort of all-powerful entity that can simultaneously cause someone, actually force someone to do it, to kill someone. Like, internet, like, got in him. And some people call it the computer demonic. The computer did this. It possessed him and caused him to, commit the assassination. But the internet also, these parental control tools will magically get into his heart and tell him not to do this. Now, this is what the Bible says. Jeremiah 17:9. The heart is deceitful above all things and desperately wicked. Who can know it? And guys, guess what? The first sin after Eve and Adam ate the fruit was murder. That's the first sin that was recorded in the Bible. And the internet did not exist. Cain's own evil actions caused him to do this. It was Cain's fault. It was on Cain. Not the internet, not the trees, not Abel, not Adam and Eve, not Seth, none of these people. I mean, if you think about this, just barely anyone do. It says him and his brother and his mom and dad. And the trees and the goats and the lambs. And he still committed murder. He's killed his own brother. The internet did not do this. He did it. His evil heart did it. And I'm not going to stand here and have these people talk about, trying to lock up all these kids, force them to not know that you can communicate over the internet. And I'm also not going to stand here and shield for parental control applications. Look, this company is for teens by teens. I am not your poster child. I'm not your poster child. This isn't plugged in. I'm not focused on the family. I'm not Keys for Kids. I'm none of these people. We're not a ministry here. I'm going to say what I believe on here. And I don't believe in these applications. Could you imagine if in the 80s, you telling your secrets to your best friend, you're talking to your friend, and your friend got subpoenaed for your parents and had to write out all your transcripts, or if your diary got leaked and things of this nature as well? Do I think that parental control applications could have stopped this? No. Because the guy who did it was in his 20s. Do I think that there are some kids who should not be on the internet? Absolutely. There are a bunch of dummies out there. But do I think, and will I advocate for taking away opportunities from other kids who can do something when they're 13 and start a company and start a website and learn something about computers? No, I'm not going to advocate for that. Am I going to advocate for myself to get spied on? No. What do you people expect me to do here? No, I'm not going to sit here and advocate. Hey, guys, I want this malware on my computer. Okay, this is not an audio drama. This is not oh, guys, go talk to your parents. This is how internet safety is. Talk to your parents and and tell them that you want the computer to be in the living room and you want the software on here and it's going to log your keystrokes and you want this because it's supposed to keep you safe. No! This isn't an audio drama where they have this idealistic, family's amazing, let's all spy on each other thing. This isn't some sort of ministry. This isn't, those people who are trying to sell the software to the internet is a big, bad, scary place. In New York, 3 years ago, this kid died after such and such happened on the internet and her parents didn't know. Respectfully. It's fear-mongering. The reason you hear these internet, the reason you hear about all these kids to do this is because it's newsworthy. The New York Post is not going to run some story about kid returns home to school safely after 105th day of school. He has a 97 in algebra, 85 in chemistry, and he has a C in physics, but he's getting tutored. News at 11. No, in my post, it's either going to run kid kidnapped after talking to stranger on the internet at 12 o'clock and her parents were looking for her. It's travesty. It's one of 5 kids or whatever the number is. Maybe 1,000, but it's millions and millions of kids in the United States where that happens to. The New York Post may run some weird story I had foot fungus and my boyfriend broke up with me. Or something like that. CNN may run some story about, some kid that got kidnapped or whatever. But they're not running stories about kids who, sit here and have a podcast and no one listens to. They're not running stories about kids who play internet games, video games, and nothing happens to them. They're not running stories about this because it's not profitable. No one wants to read that. No one's going to read that. And there's other people on the internet being obsessed with your computer is actually a bad thing. You should have been outside with your friends playing. Yes. Okay, guys, you think there's a reason I was obsessed with my computer? You think I just didn't want to go outside and play with kids? There was no one here. There was no one around here. And they're oh, well, your parents should have moved. Oh, I'm sorry. It's either a $185 computer or a $185,000 house with 1 bedroom in it. Oh, well, you shouldn't have been on your computer listening to Adventures in Odyssey and, writing your website. No, sir. No, sir. You should have been outside playing with the other kids. And I'm saying, look, if I knew where the kids were, you don't think I'd be there. I'm running ads that cost hundreds and hundreds of dollars. It costs newspapers. Okay, if I knew where they were, you don't think I'd go there? And we know I can do it. And Kate says foot fungus. Yes, very funny. Like, have you ever seen the front page of the New York Post? Hilarious. Kate, like, I know I can do it. Let's not forget that I went to the park and met kids. But guys, guess what? Here, where I live now, there is a park, but no kids go there. What do you expect them to do? Spawn out of the ground? Like what? You think fringes are gonna spawn out the ground? You click a button, boom. Or you just sit at a computer. Yeah. And I look at the map and I say there's no kids here. So there's no point. At least I might as well put my mind to something productive. But it's fear-mongering. It's fear-mongering in the cybersecurity industry. It's fear-mongering in the parental control industry. It's fear-mongering all the time in the news industry. They're trying to fear-monger you. And it's on both sides as well. Some of these kids are using the argument of why they want cell phones in school. And I believe that their pleas are valid. But they're like, oh, well, there might be a school shooting. Yeah. School shootings get tons of coverage. But they are very rare. Very rare. There are millions of schools across the United States. Millions. Most likely you will be fine. That is not a good argument to use. I'm against fear-mongering on both sides. See, look, I'm calling out the kids over here. I'm calling out the parents. Stop fear-mongering people. It's not the legitimacy of this going to happen. It's so very low. It's so very real. And look, when it happens to people, like you say, your kid got kidnapped or something like that, yeah, maybe you shouldn't have been on the internet. I'm just going to say that. Put that out there. But no, we're not going to try to, say this for all kids. I stand for the teens. That is who I am. Right? I'm not some bought and paid for, controlled by parents sort of podcast. So I'm not going to sit here and read a message being like, my parents say that parental control software is really good. That's why I, as a teen, advocate this message. I'm the tech boy, and I approve this message. No, I'm not going to say I'm going to do that. Unless they pay me. Then, if they pay me lots of money, then yeah, sure, I'll show for any parental control software that you want. Sorry, kids. It's not like any of y'all listening to this anyway, so it doesn't matter. No. No, that's not how this works. All right, now let's get to our teen of the week. All right, no music this time because, I want people to actually listen to this podcast. So let's get ready to spin the spinner here. We need to find more boys. My gosh. We're not going to do offering Carter. We're going to have to take him off because we looked at him already. So, sorry, Carter. There you go. Let's spin. Spin the spinner, guys. Beat the clock. All right. All right, congratulations to Relatable. And I'm going to remove her. Hopefully this isn't the same person as last time. Let me see if I can find the reel that I saved for her. From her. Hopefully it's a reel. It says she's a real creator, but I don't see the... yes, here it is. All right, I found her account. We're going to go through some of them because she is our teen of the week. So, congratulations to her for winning this. I think this is the one that I tagged. What is this game? Palace Pets. When life gets so boring, you whip out your childhood. There's some Palace Pets game. And, this is what they're trying to take from you. This is what they're trying to take from you. I don't know what Palace Pets is. But, look at this. Customization. You got this thing here. And let's do, I guess, a video. This one's pinned. So let's look at this. And I'll pause this here. We'll keep the sound off. I don't know what sound it is. I don't want to get copyright stricken. It says the blondes always win, which it's really interesting because she looks blonde to me. Not like I'm a blonde expert or anything. Crossword Crispy Lamont, but here it is there. And hey guys, remember that video of the kid from 2 weeks ago? They're like, oh, why are all the kids going for the blondes and the tall brunettes? Well, hopefully she didn't see this video because she might have gone into a conniption. But I mean, let's look at his content here. It says, quote, when I finally feel pretty, but that one 10/10 blonde with blue eyes that every boy wants walks past me. And this got 58,000 likes, and how many people saw this? 1 million people saw this. Oh my gosh. Insane, insane. So congratulations to our teen of the week for that insane stuff coming out of this account here, which has only 1,487 followers, which is insane for a reel that got 1 million followers, which, I'm pretty interested in how she was able to blow up something like that. And, this isn't an official Teen of the Week post here. Maybe I'm going to have to stop adding people to the list because so many things. But, as Bro, it's just Addy showed us before, apparently sitting on your truck is a trend if you're a senior. I haven't seen any boys do this. If I do, I will bookmark them and they will be shown on the show. But here is another person named Addy. Common name, I guess. Hope you guys can see this on the screen. Look at this. Another person is sitting on their car that says seniors. And also, God bless the United States of America. Let's go. Patriotic teens. Let's go. Wait a second. This is from 54 weeks ago, so they probably graduated. And here we have one again on the screen. Another Jeep. Man, Jeep. Jeep for the win. Congratulations, Noelle Cates. She is a vlogger, a high school vlogger. Really great. Hope she's not in the great state of Texas because her career is over. Anyway, congratulations to these people. Seems like a great trend. And you know what? I'm going to do this trend as well. I just need a car. We'll go back 2 years in time. We'll go back to some random high school. We'll take a picture. And we'll do that as well because we need the views, we need the counts. And as you guys know, controversy drives clicks, but it's really driving the clicks. The cars are driving the clicks. Cars and people sitting on top of cars is a trend, and we are going to do this trend as it is as well. And guys, God bless, stay safe on the internet. Gotta say that in there. It's in my contract. And, make sure that you don't have any other stupid parental control app malware on your devices. Oh, wait. Almost had a sign off. Almost signed off on there. We got to talk about Basecamp Adventures, what was this episode? Oh, my gosh. This is our thing for rated.org. We'll talk about this. I'll rate that episode because it was playing on Keys for Kids Radio. It's now on Keys for Kids Radio. But this kid, once again, one thing about laptop safety, they only have one laptop, and they asked the mom if they can go on the website, and she said yes. They always do this in these evangelical radio dramas. It's really cool. Here's the Basecamp Adventures. And in this Basecamp Adventures episode, I'm going to try to pull it up. Hopefully it's still there, because it is Saturday, so they might have changed the episode. Anyway. Keys for Kids Radio. In this episode, it's a comic book episode, so they're giving a comic book, and it's going to apply to someone in real life. There's a superhero who defeated someone who was trying to take over the world, and he put them on a planet far, far away. Apparently, that's wrong. He's going to give them a trial. Sure, he tried to invade the entire world with robots, but you need a trial after that. Yes, sir. You need a trial after that. He did not get a fair and speedy trial, so he got decommissioned, and he ended up working as a janitor in this girl's school, which is ridiculous. Like, why? Oh, man. So, yeah, they did update the episode, but, I mean, it is ridiculous. What is this? And this is girl in the episode. I'm going to try to find it. Here we go. Because they have them hosted on a website. And she has a great voice. It's amazing. And she says United States. Really, really nice. Unfortunately, the audio drama... Wait, 7? Did they make a new one? I think it's discontinued, isn't it? I'm going to put it up on Spotify. I think it's called Red. Oh, they made a new album. They're making a new album. Oh, my gosh. Let's go. I thought they canceled the series back in 2022. Yeah, after they went to some random, they went to the moon or something like that. I don't know what they were doing. Oh yeah, it's Red Zero. All right. Yes, they have a transcript. Thank you, Spotify. And it's 17:59. I mean, listen to this voice. Great audio drama voice. Amazing. Great character too. Here we go. And patriotic. Patriotic. All right, here we go. Thank you, Spotify, for this transcript, and thank you, Basecamp.
Whatever you figured out, it's not who I am.
You, sir, are Red Zero, the Gauntlet Guardian stationed in the northern Midwest area of the United States.
Of the United States. And God bless Tech Talk. To you later. Oh, wait. You couldn't even hear it. Never mind. Let's go back. Oh, there you go. Here's the episode. United States.
Oh, it's you.
Hi! I told you I'd figure out who you are.
Listen, kid, whatever you figured out,
It's always
not
like
who
this
I am.
precocious,
You,
like,
sir, are Red
7th
Zero,
grade
the
kid
Gauntlet Guardian stationed
who's-
in the northern Midwest area of the United States.
Let's go.
Young lady,
Let's go.
I am not.
It's always this, it's always like some precocious detective kid. She's kind of like a conspiracy theorist. So cool, so cool. God bless